Coming to you from BAFDraft Studios, where we think and don't stink. It's episode 63 with your host,
Matt Zerby.
and your co-host,
Rob Flowers.
How are you guys doing?
I got a podcast to record, so let's just get this over with, starting at the top.
Oh, it makes
What's
me
up?
so happy
Hey,
when
by
he's
the way,
so salty.
You're, yeah, we're doing this. Dang, what the heck, man?
I don't know,
I'm trying
Gray.
to scroll up here. Basically, you copied episode 62 and just redid it because our minor topic,
Or 61, I don't know what it was.
60.
Our minor topic was microphone talking, so.
Yeah, no, that's what he said, was that he was going to hold that topic for a later date.
Gotcha.
It's a later date.
It's a later date, yeah.
Yeah, but we already talked about that, so.
Well, that may be the minor topic. I don't know. I just copied the old one.
Gotcha. All right. Cool.
Oh, man.
So we're going to jump right into pack one, pick one?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's the
sure.
safe option.
Okay.
Let's just do
Gotcha.
that.
Gotcha. Let me know if your mics are too high, so.
The only one that's too high is you. Like, I can barely hear Matt at all coming
Okay.
through. But, I mean,
Well,
that's just my headphones.
Well, it's also the salt. It's
Yeah.
also the salt is like clogging my throat. Like there's the extreme amount of salt in the back of my throat. It's just making it hard to talk.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
that's a shame.
It's something.
Okay, here we go. Let's go. Hour of Devastation, pack one, pick one.
Yeah.
Dauntless Avon.
Yep, that's
not,
it.
Not a good start, not a bad start. 2 and a white, and it's a 2/1 flying. Bird Warrior, and whenever it attacks, you untap another creature you control.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
scary.
it's really good.
Oh yeah, it's
Especially
gonna be hard.
with
It's
the
gonna be hard to
exert.
find a replacement for that.
Especially with the Exert stuff that's in the set.
All right, here we go. Next card is, Blur of Blades. There's your replacement.
No,
No,
No?
I'll keep
Not
the
even
thing.
close.
I'll
Blur
keep the
Blades,
Avon.
one in a... Oh, okay. 1 in a red. Put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. Blur Blades deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. I'm actually going with Blur Blades. So.
Okay.
okay. It's a bad removal spell.
Whatever.
And
It's
then
not
we'll-
for removals for other stuff, too.
The
but
Dauntless Avon you'll get is way harder to get than the Blur Blades.
Okay.
You can easily pick
They're
up two. or
both
three.
uncommon, so... Or both common, so...
Right, but one is played and one is not.
Gotcha. All right. Next one is... Ooh, gosh, man. There's just... Unquenchable Thirst. 1 in a blue. It is an enchantment. When it comes into play, an enchants creature, it taps it if you control a desert or there's a desert in your graveyard.
Yeah.
If not, it doesn't untap during your untap phase.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to keep the Avon.
I'm definitely going with the Unquenchable
I'm
Thirst.
switching... Yeah, I would say I'm switching to Unquenchable Thirst.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tapping something down for 2 mana is just clean removal. That's just good magic right there.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Ugh. I don't know. I like this one too. Sidewinder Naga. I'm not picking this over this, but 2 and a green. It's a Naga Warrior. It's a 3/2 as long as you control a desert or there's a desert in your graveyard. It gets +1 and has +1/+0 and has trample. I like it, but I'm not picking it over Unquenchable Thirst.
I'm going to stick with the
Yeah.
Avon.
Okay.
Yeah, my opinion of the Sidewinder Naga is going down quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the trample so much. I don't care about it being a 4/2. Like it's just, I mean, you can get much cheaper, reliable ways to get that much power and that much toughness, and more evasion.
Lethal Sting. 2 and a black. This is sorcery is an additional cost of Lethal Sting. Put a -1/-1 on a creature you control, and then you can destroy target creature.
I have not played it with the card. I've only ever played against it, and it was whatever.
It's it's removal. It's like low end removal.
Yeah, it really... To make it worthwhile, though, you really want to run the green-black and actually get some utility out of the -1/-1.
Yeah.
Or a black-white and have the vizier that puts 1 less -1/-1. So then
Yeah.
it's basically just a free kill spell.
But the problem with both those decks, both of those decks, want their creature, want to get rid of their creatures, but have such a high utility on their own creatures. It's sort of like, it's almost bad. Like you need a lot of tokens to make it work, or you need just creatures that aren't doing anything.
counterintuitive to casting creature spells almost.
What's up?
It's like counterintuitive to casting creature spells. You're talking about the...
Well, yeah, because most of the time when you play a cheap removal like that, you want to play it in an aggro deck, and making your aggro creatures that are all going to die, playing it with aggro
Yeah.
creatures that are all going to die to it, Where I can see it shine is if, like you were saying, the mummy deck. If you had that the 1/2 that taps something down for 2 mana.
Oh, the
Pay 2.
fan bearer.
Yeah, the fan bearer. Like it seems like it'd be phenomenal on that because I love putting my -1/-1 counters on that thing because it's never getting into combat anyway.
Yeah. No, like I said, if you had that vizier of like treatment or whatever, and it says put 1 less -1/-1 counter, so then you just don't.
I've never seen Lethal Sting used to any great effect.
But
No.
can I say that so far these are not like really bad picks?
No, I mean it's actually
like
a
a pretty good pack.
decent little pack so far.
I think it's hitting a lot of different spectrums,
Yeah.
play. All right, so next one. Oh my god,
Oh, is that
Ambuscade? Yeah,
that'll
2
be
and a
mine.
green. Instant target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. I'm going with that.
Yeah, I'm going Ambuscade as well.
Yeah.
I'm still going Unquenchable Thirst. I like Ambuscade a lot. Like I like it a lot. It's really really good. I used it to great success a lot. The problem is it relies on 2 things: having a creature and having a creature that has at least 1 power, at least less than whatever you're trying to kill.
Yeah.
Now most of the time you'll get that. That's not too hard of it's not too hard of an accomplishment to get. I think Unquenchable Thirst just is flat out removal. So I'll take the cheaper, just gonna flat out remove something over the Ambuscade.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Ruin Rat, 1 and a black. It's a 1/1 rat with Death Touch. When it dies, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard.
Also a really good pick too.
Yeah, I really like that card. It's just not better than something like Ambuscade, but it works really well in conjunction the two. Even then, you don't have to worry about how big or how much power you have. It's just okay, well that's dead. And then if you really go for it, then then get the rat killed. Like let's say if they have a god on their side, Ambuscade into just a free attack, and then kill your rat, and then exile the god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and already it's really funny because everything almost every card that we've played so far is a removal spell. Unquenchable Thirst removes something. Ambuscade's a removal spell. The rat is a removal spell.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
true.
So and then even the Blades is a removal spell. So almost every card we have, the Lethal Sting is a removal spell.
Yeah. Besides the Aven, the Dauntless Aven.
Yeah.
And the Sidewinder.
And the Sidewinder.
Yeah.
So that's a really funny pack. This is a much better pack than we've had.
Yeah.
Oh, the last 2 drafts.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's your crap card. Life Goes On. Green. Instant. Gain 4 life. If a creature died this turn, you gain 8 life instead. I sadly saw this played way too much last draft.
I didn't see it played at all last draft.
Yeah, it was.
Is it because you played that one player who always plays that card?
There were 2 people that played it. There are 2 people who will always play that,
Yeah. One is I
and
think
I
at
always
this
beat
point.
them when they play this.
I think one of those people is a lost cause at this point as to why that's a bad
I'm still
card.
trying to convince the other one.
Yeah.
That there's a reason
Yeah.
why it's bad.
And I mean, at least that second person, they've only been playing less than a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still hope.
Yeah. All right, next one. Granitic, however you say it, Titan. It's 4 and a red. It's a elemental 5/4 with menace and cycling 2.
I think it wins on the flavor pick. It's still my favorite flavor of all the whole set.
Let me see what the flavor. The flavor
can't
says. That one's not mine. Run, Nisa. Yeah, I remember you talked about that.
That is pretty good.
All right, so obviously not that one. These are just too good. So.
Yeah, Ambuscade and Unquenchable Thirst is just too good.
Seer of Last Tomorrow, 2 and a blue. It's a 1/4. It's a Naga Cleric. If you pay a blue and tap it, discard a card, and target player puts top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard.
I actually saw that card to some success in a discard deck. It was actually really funny because they weren't even triggering on the mill part. It was just paying it blue so they could discard a card.
So they could trigger other things.
So they could trigger their own
Yeah, trigger their
It
discard.
stuff.
almost beat me the other, last night because of that. I was 4 cards left on that. We'll go into that later. So.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Crook of Condemnation. It is a artifact that costs 2. If you pay 1 and tap it, exile target card from a graveyard. If you pay 1 and exile Crook of Condemnation, exile all cards from graveyards.
Oh, okay.
So can I take a little side real fast? So last draft we had it was the God Pharaoh's Gift was going around pack 2. I was passing it down, and I there was a card. Oh, it was actually an ambuscade. I took an ambuscade over the Godfrey's Gift, which, is it right choice or wrong choice? My curve was really low, so I took the ambuscade. I think card for card, the Godfrey's Gift is just one of the best 7-drops you can play. I aggressively took the desert that pay 2 exile. Is the rare desert that pay 2 exile all cards from graveyards, which shuts down the Godfrey's Gift, specifically because I knew Godfrey's Gift was somebody drafted it. So I think like the Crook, I would take one aggressively just to have it in my sideboard, just because I think the Godfrey's is just a card my deck can't beat, but cards like. This is going to go to our major topic in a little bit, so that's why I want to talk about this for a second. But I took a card that I wanted to make my deck stronger, as opposed to a card to possibly make my deck better in a hypothetical situation in case I happen to fight that guy. So we'll go into more on that later, but this is just an example of it.
All right. Next card, Liliana's Defeat. It is black sorcery. Destroy target black creature or black planeswalker. If that permanent was a Liliana Planeswalker, her controller loses 3 life.
My opinion of these cards is definitely going up. I mean, it was already high before, and it just keeps going up. I think these in draft, I think these are really good to take. If you can splash 2 colors, I would even sideboard these in every time
for a splash sideboard.
A splash
sideboard. I get that because there are big bombs that can take care of.
Yeah, and I'm not taking it over Unquenchable Thirst that will always answer something, but I will aggressively take all the defeats. Yeah, all except the green one.
All right, next one. This is our second uncommon. Burning Fist Minotaur. It's 1 and a red. First strike Minotaur Wizard with has 2/1. If you pay 1 and a red, discard a card. Burning Fist Minotaur gets +2/+0 until the end of turn. I don't like it.
I've actually never seen that card.
We had talked about it quite extensively last episode.
I don't.
Yeah, when we had
that at all.
When we had Gage on, we were talking about this card. And
I thought it was a different one.
Yeah. I like the card. Again, I still have yet to see it actually in play on my side or my opponent's side. I still want the Unquenchable Thirst. It's still a removal spell.
Yeah.
I'm going Ambuscade still all the way.
I actually think if I was to rate these cards, so originally, I had Unquenchable Thirst first, Ambuscade second, and then the everything else after that. I think I want the Minotaur over Ambuscade. So just the reason I think the combination between the two is backbreakingly terrible. Yeah. Like your opponent's not going to know what to do.
Okay, here's our rare. Oh, well. There's my other one I need, by the way. Okay. The Scarab God.
Yeah. 3. That wins.
3 and a blue and a black. Okay, so it's a legendary creature god, 5/5. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life, and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. And then in addition to that, if you pay 2, a blue and a black, exile target creature from a graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except for it's a 4/4 black zombie. When the Scarab God dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. You don't even have to play zombie decks. So.
Yeah, I mean, that thing is just by itself is a powerhouse.
Yeah, ignore the first line of text, ignore the second line of text, and it's literally an unkillable 5/5.
Yeah, for 5.
For 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the pick, I think. There's full art mountain.
Yeah.
That was a good pack.
That's actually a really, really, really good pack.
let me see here. So if we take the Scarab God, Burning Fist,
if we took the Scarab God out, I'm still going with Ambuscade.
2, 3, 4,
5,
6, 7. You might actually be able to will Liliana's Defeat, which I would take, or the Crook of Condemnation. You might be able to wheel one of those two. Taking the Crook on the wheel would be really funny, because then they can't even stop your plan.
Well, I mean, that's one pack out of how many, though?
Yeah, I got you. But, I mean, you want to look at what you can hope to wheel. There's, after those first 5 or 6 really powerful picks, there's not much going on in that deck, or going on in that pack.
Yeah. But, I mean, that by the time you get to those picks gone, I mean, you're at the dregs of a pack anyway, so not really expecting anything powerful to come through. Wow, I suddenly got much more powerful myself.
Your voice is so
masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah. With a twist of a knob. It's amazing, folks. Oh, we can't talk about that. Sorry.
All right, so going to our first minor topic. What do we got going on here, Gary?
What are you talking about? Oh my God!
No,
Why are you
I'm
bringing
ruining it.
that up?
I'm
Oh, okay.
absolutely ruining whatever
I'm
you
just
have.
throwing up things I like. These are a few of my favorite things.
Okay.
My Thurman Munson rookie card. And
Holy
my,
crap! That's the first time you said it right since I've met you.
And my my Thurman Munster.
Yep, there we go.
And my Beta Lightning Bolt. So
Nice. Awesome.
I don't know.
See, he's sharing the things we like with the audience.
yeah. And like this has been here the whole time. I love this. Is my favorite guitar.
We actually have talked about that in the past.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You took down the comics? You don't want the comics up?
Well, it didn't show up on the screen, so I'm like,
Oh, okay. I
it was
didn't know.
my reprint of Action Comic #1. So
Yeah, it's the book one, right?
no, the book one is Muhammad Ali versus Superman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
I really don't like this loud. I gotta turn me down. Way too loud.
How about that?
That's much better, yeah.
Okay.
much gooder.
All right, so for our major topic today, as we alluded to earlier, we're going to talk Splish Splash, I Was Taking a Bath.
And then you give me crap about the
Yeah,
intros
you even
I
use
come up with?
you even use the wrong taken. Like, why
I was taken.
Yeah.
You weren't taking one. Somebody, you was. What is this?
I
was
don't
taking
even
a
know.
bath.
Is this?
That's not even no.
Is this
I know.
Urban,
It'd be
Urban
I and
Dictionary?
apostrophe.
I'm stealing a bathtub, or what's the deal here?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I was taking a bath.
All right. So anyway,
Yeah.
splashing.
Yeah. I was like, look, if certain people can bring their terribleness, I'm just going to do it right along.
Oh, okay. First off, mine are creative. I spend all day pondering, and sometimes they just.
I think that's worse, though, right?
No, I you know what? Before you even come here, I actually practice recording them and listen to them and get.
I mean that's good. That's good.
I should make the recordings of my practices for you. Like, that's not good. And I do the whole deal.
Oh, please
I go
do
back
that.
and listen to it. It's hilarious.
Please do that.
It's me having fun on audio.
I don't know what to say anymore. Like, I thought mine was
I was
terrible.
gonna do it in an
My
Arkansas
whole-
accent, dude. So you got
my
lucky
whole,
today.
My whole point was I was just trying to bring this podcast to a grinding halt, but I can't even when I try to bring the podcast to a grinding halt do as good a job as you.
Okay, yeah. Hey,
Accidentally.
it's a talent, man.
I mean it's amazing.
He owns it too. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Genius at it. It's great. All right, so let's talk about splashing. All right, so let's say we're it's pack 3. We have a solid green black synergy deck. We care about getting our +1/+1s. The kind you like to build,
well, I mean,
or the -1/-1s.
-1.
We like to we're beating our opponents. We have some removal spells in black and green, and we are locked in. That is our color combination. We even have some of the what do you call them? The spiders.
the obelisk.
Yeah,
spiders?
the
Those
obelisk
things are
spiders.
Gross.
Yeah, we've
So
got
not scary anymore.
a nice deck. What?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, so we have our 2s, we have a pile of 3s, we have some powerful 4s, and game-ending 5s and 6s, right? At this point, what we're hoping to open in our pack are basically cards that are going to put, we have 19 cards, so we're looking for the final 6, ones that are just going to nail down what our deck is doing, maybe some good sideboard options. All right, we open a pack, and we see the Glorybringer and Cartouche of Ambition. All right, so Glorybringer is the 5-mana 4/4 with flying and haste. You can exert it and deal 4 damage when it attacks. And the Cartouche of Ambition is the 3 mana, so 2 and a black, or 2 and a black. Enchanted creature you control gets +1/+1, and then you put a -1/-1 counter on another target creature, and you gain lifelink as well.
Yeah.
Right, so the Cartouche is gonna go into our deck gangbusters. Like, it's not even gonna be a problem at all. Alright, so right now we have 1 desert that can tap for any color, and that's our only fixing that we have in the whole thing. Also, we had no... Go ahead.
No,
We also had no intention on, no color fixing even in our sideboard, no red lands, no red deserts, no nothing like that. Alright, so the question I have for you, hypothetically, do we take the Glorybringer? And we need to consider, considering it's the best rare in Amonkhet, I think people can make an argument, but I'm making that statement. It is the best rare in Amonkhet for limited play. or do we take the reliable Cartouche of Ambition, a card that we definitely will want in our deck? Okay, so before we go into the topic, before we start breaking it all down, what do you think, Gary?
Well, first, it really matters if you've seen a lot of other stuff wheel around a lot, like red. If you've seen big red stuff wheel around a lot, then somebody might not be solid in red already. They're already weak in it, so it's okay to give up that Glorybringer. If you're not seeing red at all, whoever's getting that's even more powerful. So that's my first thoughts on it.
Right.
If it's towards the end and I've already got a solid deck, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm that guy who will grab Glorybringer.
You're grabbing Glorybringer?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know me. I stretch myself way too thin on 3-color, so.
I'm absolutely terrible at splashing. Like, it is criminally bad how terrible I am at it. So I would probably actually just pass it and go with the Cartouche.
Okay.
That's my thoughts. And only having one fixing option, I'm looking at the worst case scenario, which is always how it seems to go whenever I try to do anything like this, and I'll get the card and then no mana, or I'll get the mana and everything's set up perfect, and then I just lose because there's nothing coming in my hand. So, I'm gonna stick with as focused on the color choice that I had gone. I mean, Cartouche of Ambition is always gonna get value, almost no matter what.
But not as much on Card Sphere, though. So, and that's another thing that goes through my mind, no matter how much I try to block it out.
Right. I mean, but what is okay? So let's go into talking about the different cards. Talking about the Glorybringer specifically, and then we'll talk about the Cartouche of Ambition. All right. So the pros for taking Glorybringer right here, and these are things you want to think about as you're heading into splashing, right? One of the pros of Glorybringer is that it's very powerful. Like I said, it is the best rare in Amonkhet. It is a 3 red, so it has extreme cost, but it is very powerful. It's game-ending threat that can run away with the game on its own. So you just drop that down, that haste, swing for 4. It's a very fast clock, even if your opponent is at more than 20 life.
Yeah.
Another pro is that you'll keep player X at the table and just somebody else at the table from having it. This is similar to the hate draft concept that you were referring to earlier.
Yeah.
All right. Also, it's a late game threat. So when you have splash cards, like you want a splash card that you can play on curve. So a splash card that you have to play on 2. So that means, let's say in the same situation, we had the red Cartouche, Cartouche of Aggression? Cartouche?
I can't remember what it's called, but
Cartouche
it's the red one.
it starts with a C, right? No.
It's Cartouche starts with a C.
No, I know that.
Cartouche of Super Scary?
No.
Yeah.
It's about the one that gives it haste.
Yeah,
And then target creature can't block.
Yeah.
Which
So
is really good.
That card's really, really good, but you want to play it early, right? You
Yes.
want to play it on turn 2, turn 3. It's great later, getting around a troublesome blocker, but you really, really want to be aggressive with it. So a card like that, you don't want to splash because unless you have it, unless you have your red early, it's not going to do anything for you. What Glorybringer being a late game threat, because you can play that turn 5 and it's amazing. You can play it turn 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it never gets less amazing. It'll always be just as amazing. So being that it's a late game threat, it's easier to splash late game threats even with the two color costs. Right? So those are some really high profile pros to Glorybringer. Also, like you were mentioning too, is another thing about Glorybringer is how much it's actually worth out of game. So let's say you're looking at your deck that you have, and you think, I don't think this deck is going to win. I don't think the deck that I currently have right now will be able to win the game, right? Well, I don't think I'll be able to win the whole tournament. I know first place prize for the tournament is 2 packs of Magic cards. 2 packs roughly comes out to about $4. $4 a pack. So if you win first place, you're basically making $8, right? What is the value of Glorybringer currently as of the recording of this podcast?
I do not know, but it'll be right here.
It kind of is applicable to the argument. So,
okay. Let me look it up real quick. How about that?
We'll just pause here. Don't move.
No, just keep going. Talking about it. I'll look it up.
Okay, so what you want to do is you want to calculate whether taking the Glorybringer is worth more than how well your deck is going to do, right? So if you think your deck is going to get, you think you have a deck that could compete for second, third place, and there's only 1 pack of prize support for second or third place, then you might want to take the Glorybringer. Looks like Glorybringer is...
No. This is a different version. Hang on. The problem is I'm only looking at a certain gaming place. Look at all versions. Boom, boom, boom. Come on.
It doesn't like you.
No, what it is what I just did. Here we go. It's not cooperating.
This is thrilling stuff, right?
Here we go.
All right, so it looks like Glorybringer's worth about what, $4?
Gone down quite a bit. $4.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's worth about $4. So basically, taking the Glorybringer, if you think your deck can get you to first, second, possibly third place, then compete for that. But if you think your deck is just a pile of garbage and you've been money drafting this whole time and you're like, you know what, I'm too tired, I'm probably not even going to be able to finish this event, take the Glorybringer because you'll be walking away with $4.
But that's like...
Well, I'm just saying that's another pro.
And that's like one of the small things that go through my mind. Like, in reality, I've drafted and not taken a red at all just because I even if...
Well,
I want to win
in this situation, you actually thought Glorybringer was worth more money than it currently is.
Yeah.
Right, so that actually plays into it.
And that was a real factor that was going on in my head. I don't want to deny that,
Right, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what we're talking about for pros, right? So as far as money drafting goes, that's a situation when you want to, if it's one of the gods, say it's a completely off-color god, the god's worth $20. I don't know how you turn that down. You basically win the tournament, even if you lose.
Yeah.
So how much money the Glorybringer is worth is also a pro because it's worth more than definitely the cartouche.
But I say let's focus. I mean, I know they brought that up. And
No. It's a good point.
Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a good point because it's definitely a pro for the card. The Glorybringer is worth a pack of magic.
Yeah.
And if you think you're going to get second place, you can get a pack of magic. All right. Now let's talk about the cons, right? So the first con is it's double red, right? So double red is really hard to splash, even if your deck can go the late game. First off, there's not a lot of color fixing in the Amonkhet. There's some, but it's not that great. Any color fixing that you're going to get is literally going to make your deck worse. Because your deck is very dependent on having black, green, playing all your threats, playing low drops, high drops, medium drops, and then suddenly dropping a mountain can just throw a whole monkey wrench into your deck. All right, it'll actively make the rest of your deck worse by having off-colored land. So if you open a hand with green mountain, you have two black cards in your deck, you almost can't keep that.
And as a reminder, he mentioned there was only one mana fixing set up in there.
By that point.
And so we're going based on this, scenario.
This is basically it's opening pack 3 and seeing the Glorybringer because that's almost never going to get past.
Yeah.
Almost never.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean.
Well, and that's where we're trying to make an argument. Can we pass the Glorybringer?
Yeah.
Right? That's where. All right. So that's another con. So another con here is that it's going to force us to draft off-color / mana fixing cards over cards we really want in our deck. Right? There are versions of the green-black deck that want to play big, giant things. So they want mana ramp, and they want the mana ramp. I think there's the 2 mana cost guy that he can tap to give any color of mana that you can already produce.
Yeah.
So if you can produce a red, he can produce a red. If you can't produce a red, he actually doesn't make you mana outside of those colors.
Yeah.
You'd have to draft some of the deserts that cost you, tap a creature to tap the desert to make a color. So you'd have to draft things like that are, actively playing against what you want just to splash this card.
Yeah, and the only other option would be the green enchantment. It's an Amonkhet, where when it comes into play, get 3 life, and then it can make an extra of any color. Yeah,
and the problem being is that some green-black decks don't want that. And I'm talking about a synergistic one, and most of those top their curve at that beetle, at 5.
Yeah.
So they don't really want to go play the 6, 7, 8 drops because they just don't have them.
Yeah.
They're not doing much anymore. So that's another thing you want to think about too, is that taking this card is going to actively make the rest of the cards that you have to pick worse. Mm-hmm. All right. So another con, and we're going to take an aside to the episode, and we're going to start talking a little bit about hate drafting.
Okay.
Specifically, I want to talk about the numerical value of how hate drafting works. All right. So let's say we're talking about a 8-man pod, the average of 8-man pod. All right. If you're 8-person pod, you're only ever going to play against 3 opponents at the table. All right. So that means that you have a less than 50% chance to even play against an opponent that has that card in their deck. All right. Now, a card like Glorybringer being so good that it can just run away with the game, increases the odds that they'll be winning. So if you win, you're only going to play against other people who win. So the odds of playing against somebody goes up a little bit. But they could get mana screwed game one. They could get super greedy game one, match one, and just lose because they were running a white green deck or a white blue deck, and suddenly they're taking Glorybringer and forcing a splash, and now they're going to lose. That is a real thing. So you only have mathematically less than a 50% chance to even play against somebody else at the table.
Okay, so I'll bring a scenario that happened to me last night. Pack 3.
Yep.
Pick 1. I picked Cast Out. Wasn't even in my colors. And then I gave up that Mythic Rare Green, which I wasn't going to pick anyways. But I picked Cast Out because I knew I had the God already, and that was one of the cards that I can't beat. Is that a bad hate draft, or is it a good hate draft, or...
Well,
so there was nothing else in that pack that I mean, you might disagree. I don't remember what else in the pack that I thought just really stuck out to me.
Well, so I mean, we're going to talk about that as we go through. The specific situation. But right now we're talking about just hate drafting, right?
Okay.
So the mathematical value of hate drafting, right? So you already have less than a 50% chance to even play against a player that possibly has it in their deck.
Okay.
Right. So on top of that, the average player will only roughly see half their deck each game. So let's say we're playing 3 different games, all right? So you've basically just taken a 50% per game to even see the card, all right? So I'm going to ask you how many times that you've played through a whole draft, an entire night of draft, taking your deck and going, oh man, I didn't even know I had it. I totally forgot I had this card in my deck.
Oh, every draft.
Yeah. If it's a card that I know is going to be bad against me, I have the Murphy's Law rule on me. So it's 100% I'm going to see my opponent get it. That's just the way I work. I'm a Murphy's Law guy. I'm a victim of it all day long. So
right, but that there's no math to support that. So.
There is absolutely none. It's all religion.
Yeah. No, with me, there's every single draft. There's always probably 2 to 3 cards that I just never see.
And sometimes they're really good cards. You're like, man, if only I'd seen this card.
It's only the really good cards.
Like last night, I wanted to see my lifelinks. I didn't see them but one. I had 3 of them in there. I saw one the whole time in all my games.
Against you, I got the Magmaroth out both times. And that's what won me the game. The other 4 games I played, I didn't see it.
Oh, wow.
I didn't see it at all. I didn't see anything above a 3 power.
Jeez, to go back and play you with that.
Yeah, so...
All right, so going with those math a little bit more. So over the course of a single match, we're going to say 3 games, right?
Okay.
Playing all 3 games, you win the first one, they win the second, and then you go to a third match. You're going to see each card in their deck roughly 1.5 times, right? So every card they play, you're only going to see once over the whole thing. So if you win the first 2 games, you may never see half their deck.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to drop it down to possibly only seeing the card one time. So it only gives you a 37.5% chance to even see to even play against that individual player who happens to play the card per game. Right. So if they have the card in the deck, you only have a 37.5% chance to even see the card.
Yeah.
In any individual game. All right. So again, this is if they draw 20 cards. All right. So this is if they draw half their deck.
Yeah.
As many as you can attest, sometimes they only get to draw 10 cards. Sometimes 15 cards, and the math drops significantly. So if they only ever get through 20 cards, that's a 50% chance to see the card, and then it drops down quite significantly. Like I said, to 10. If they only draw 10 cards, they have a 40% chance to ever draw the card, much less play it. And then even at 17. You're looking at, between 10 to 17 cards, you're only looking at a 40 to 42% chance even to see the card. And that's not counting the 50% chance to even play against the opponent in the first place.
Yeah.
All right. So, alternatively, if we take the cartouche, right? So let's talk about some of the pros of taking the cartouche.
Okay.
All right. First pro is that we are going to play in our deck no matter what.
Yep.
We're going to remove whatever 3, even if we're glutted on 3-drop, we are going to remove 3 drops because that card is just so powerful. That card alone can run away with games.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have no need to ruin our mana base. We already can just run a 17 land, greens and blacks, good to go. All right, it's a 3-drop, so it stays in our curve nice and low.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about, having tons of land and finding it. And then the last final thing is it turns any trial that we see later into exponentially better, right? So the trial is great. This turns the trials into bonkers. It turns the trials into from a really high pick to a pack 1 pick 1 almost.
Yeah.
All right, cons. It's definitely not as powerful as the Mythic Rare. It's not as powerful as the Glorybringer. On a card-for-card value, you top deck the Cartouche, they top deck Glorybringer, they're going to win. That's just how it's going to be. It's just not as powerful. And the second one is that it requires a creature. So you have to be playing your 2s, your 3s, your 4s. All right.
Now I want to say that not as powerful as the Mythic Rare or the Rare, because I think Glorybringer's a Rare, right? Not a Mythic.
I think it's Mythic Rare.
I'm pretty sure it's just a Rare, man.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The power of the Glorybringer, I think, that con has so much relevance. It's significantly more powerful than I think the Cartouche is.
Right.
Card for card, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the
But
Glorybringer
the other
is
thing,
ridiculous.
I think the biggest con that the Glorybringer has going for it is the double mana.
That is, well, again,
That's like single-handedly almost makes it to where really you shouldn't pick it.
right. Well, the idea being that all of those cons add up. All
I
the
get you, I get
fact
you.
that hate drafting isn't good because you could just not play against the card.
Correct.
You can make your deck so much smoother by taking the Cartouche. So my final thoughts on the whole the hate drafting, the whole which one you pick is you have to pick the Cartouche. And the reason why I say this actually happened, and I was hoping to have on the podcast from last episode. Gage actually had this situation happen to him.
Okay.
He first picked a Cartouche and handed me Glorybringer, and then he proceeded to win the entire event, even though I had Glorybringer. And I believe a lot of you remember the salt I had from that night, because we had 11 people, and I still came in second place because my opponents were all did not do as well in the pairings as his did.
Yeah.
So
he got paired down in the last round.
He smartly didn't take a card that was going to make his deck worse. He didn't hate draft the card. He even allowed me to play it into my deck, and I still, I played it twice. It blew out games. It was amazing, helped me win, but it didn't help me in the larger scale. Mm-hmm. He still won for the whole night.
I'll be honest with you. I know it might be wrong, and maybe I should test it out one time when I come in that scenario that's similar to that. I'm still picking the Glorybringer.
You're still picking the Glorybringer?
Yeah.
I mean, no. Unless I need it for another deck, I'll take the Cartouche.
Right.
Because I actually want to try and do good, which is funny because as I've alluded to in this set, I don't.
Right.
So I should just take the money. But
I like splashing colors, man. I like doing that 3-color thing. So
yeah. Well, I mean, getting back to the whole point of the
whole
topic is, at what point is it splashing, and at what point is it just hate drafting?
You're forcing that crap in
It's
there.
not forcing though. That's the argument. The situation we literally just played out is that you're not even splashing.
I'm
It's
telling
literally hate drafting.
you, you can sell me on it all day long. I've read it many times. I'm still picking the Glorybringer every time. I think it's gonna do better for me. So that's just me. That's my stubbornness. That's my hopefulness in the statistics of it. That's my putting the whole Murphy's Law into effect that seems to happen to me. So yeah, I'm picking the Glorybringer, man. Just like I played that Monument, and you were like, "Oh, that's so horrible." That's how I got third place. I drafted horribly, and I put a card that was already a bad card. That, by the way, that wasn't like one of my, oh, great, this is going to help me out. When I drafted it, it was one of those, there's nothing else in here, let me pick this, whatever. And it happened to help me out later, so.
Well, on a podcast where we're trying to help newer players.
No, I gotcha. I'm the stubborn
how
guy. I'm the stubborn guy who's going to do
lose
the wrong thing.
repeatedly, over and over again.
He did better than I did, and I stuck with
I
good
like
thing.
taking risk. How about that? I'll put it that way. That is a big risk when I do that. The smart thing to do, and the what I know is the correct thing to do, is to pick the Cartouche.
Right.
I am admitting to that.
Right.
I'm probably still going to take the Glorybringer because I like taking those risks.
Okay.
So is that a fair enough answer?
I mean,
your personality, yeah.
It's it's not much. I think, but you see, your personality is what makes this podcast gold.
That's right. Because hang on, I can't do it. I was gonna say because I can't even think what I said at the intro. Never mind.
Just so much salt.
Drink some more water, buddy.
I'm gonna just drink some water here.
Okay, so
Fighting a cold over here. I apologize.
yeah,
I say I'm feeling something coming on too.
I
You're
think
in the
it's
wrong room, buddy.
The allergies and stuff. No, I mean I'm not much better. I sneezed probably 8 times today, like the chest hurt sneeze, and it's like those are the bad ones, and it's like I only have allergies here. Back home, I run through wildflowers, just throwing pollen.
Mine's
in
not
my
allergies.
face.
Mine's like I've been running around and I can feel the back of my throat kind of getting sore kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, so for this week in recap, we're going to talk about, like we always do, for what happened as the week went by.
You're so dirty. Now I know what you're thinking. Sorry.
No, I was over here laughing. I didn't want to allude to it. Just go ahead, buddy. You go ahead.
All right, so on Sunday, I got to play some standard. Helped Brandon. He's working on a standard mill deck. Helped him out with fixing up his mill deck a little bit, making it a little bit more streamlined. He played against the control, and I don't think he was very happy with the outcome. So, and as over the week, he's been basically talking about his deck, and he's saying out.
He's done with it, by the way.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go on something else. I was like, hey man, you try stuff out.
Yeah. I think it all stemmed from the fact that Pac one picked a
his first draft ever.
Yeah, his first draft ever.
Sanity.
He got Freda's sanity, and then he almost milled somebody out.
It's fun, man. If you can do it, dude, it's like the coolest.
The problem is even against me, I had built a standard deck, and this is for last night, so I'm kind of breaking pattern. But I had built a black-green deck, and he'd been playing with that for a while, and I just put mine together, and he got me down to 5 cards in the library, but I still won. Yeah. So that's the problem that I've always seen. Is you always get them down to, there's only 4 cards left.
But I wonder if it was piloted by somebody else, would it have done better, No.
Okay. No. I mean,
it's a fun idea to try out.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely is. But, I mean, there's only really one way to play a mill deck, and that's throw all their cards as fast as you possibly can, because otherwise you're going to die, because your creatures are absolute trash.
Yeah.
And you're trying to play mill spells rather than control spells.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could have
and
5/1/1 creatures
you can't
out.
Really do both.
Yeah. And, especially if you're going with an actual standard deck, they're going, especially when they see that that's what you're doing. Oh, it's basically just a
They're taking all risks.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care. Oh, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
Kill my creature with a removal spell? No.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, that's always the thing. And it is fun to do it. And it's frustrating for the other person, but at the same time, I've only seen it happen once in probably 30 mill games where that was the strategy, and I've only seen it pan out like once or twice. And so,
Yeah, mill is not something like mill is a card. Wizards will keep printing mill cards until the company goes out of business, because there is a dedicated following to mill. There are people who love to kitchen table mill decks. They have them. They play them all the time. There are people who love to force draft mill. We have one, at least in our play group. And that pie challenge is still looking like I'm going to throw a pie in somebody's face.
Thought it was going to happen last night.
So they keep printing these cards, and I think they're almost like red herrings. They're out there. They're so tempting, and they look so funny. And I think a lot of it is that it's mostly people's reaction to mill cards. Like if I'm milling you, right, and it's your reaction to, oh, you got my big thing. Oh, you got my... And like we had talked about earlier, since you're only going to see half your deck anyway, if you just took half your deck and just put it in your graveyard, sometimes you can still win. How many times do you not see that big thing anyway?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now the only thing where mill actually actively backfires is pretty much this set, because of so many embalms and eternalize. It's like, go ahead and throw it all in the graveyard.
Yep.
I don't even care. I've got 6 mana, you're dead.
When we were playing the standard deck, he kept milling me, and I have all the Gear Hulks. So he just powered my graveyard. I was like, oh, sweet, I'll take this spell, and I'll cast it for free.
Yeah.
This is great.
Exactly. So,
So what did you do Sunday?
Oh, Sunday. I ended up playing one game of Commander. We have a couple of people that have ridiculously overpowered Commander decks for the group, and they basically anytime you get a 4-player game, it's those people end up fighting to the end, and then everybody else gets knocked out really early. So I brought Omnath, and I was like, okay, and I went in full intention of just ridiculously over the top aggressive, and I did, and I ended up killing 2 people.
Nice.
And the only reason I lost is because I'm dumb. He ended up playing. He was playing a cat deck, and he had a 13-11 cat thing, and I had like 22 life. Gave it lifelink, and I mistakenly thought that my creatures were untapped, and I flashed in the Dictate of the Twin Gods. Because the thoughts were I could block with everything. They're all 5/5, so even at 26 points of damage, I don't care.
Right.
They're all 5/5s. I'm gonna eat that creature, and then you can kill 5 of my things, and I just hit you for what would that be? 30 points of damage.
Yeah.
And he was at like 17, so it was like, oh, okay. And then I still had Omnath out, so it was like the next turn you were going to die anyway. I only had 1 creature untapped, and I basically just got pounded in the face and looked at it after I cast it. I was like, man, I'm dumb. And so I lost, But it was all right.
You had to remove 2 people, right?
I certainly did. I certainly did. And so... It was a good time,
Okay.
But that was like a 2-hour game, so that's all I did on Sunday.
Nice.
It's that one game.
I played 2 Commander games.
Okay.
3 people games. It was me and Joe versus Gage. And
You and Joe versus Gage?
Oh, we went full on. Our intention was to knock him out first, do whatever he was going to do. Joe was a little more weird about it. Joe won the first game.
Okay.
But I got second. I didn't go out first.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works when 2 people gang up on the third person.
And then the third game, it was really weird. There was a full land removal because Gage played with 2 different decks. I played with my Drain deck, my Black-White Drain, which wasn't super modified, just very inexpensive still, like within that budget range. And the Cat deck had a few little changes to it, and that was about it. So we play him in the second game. I'm draining the crap out of people and doing weird stuff. I steal everybody's creature, do the whole, I can't think of what it's called, Grave Betrayal, going to town. Then next thing you know, Gage wipes the whole lands out, puts out that, what's that card where if you pay 2 of every color, target player loses the game and you sack it?
Door to Nothingness.
Yeah, he has Door to Nothingness out. He has no lands, but he had something where he got some other stuff, and he worked it out where he had it in there. We weren't keeping it up at that point because he was still pretty far away from getting anything to get it popping off. So nobody's really swinging. I'm just letting things happen. And he was like, basically, don't attack me. Whoever attacks me, you're going to lose. It was his way of saying Door to Nothingness is ready to go, but without telling us it's ready to go. And we weren't picking up on it because we were just having fun.
I actually watched this go down. It was hilarious.
And then Joe does a full swing. And he's like, Door to Nothingness. I'm like, yes. I'm like, that's what I didn't know he had them. I wasn't keeping track. So then I kept popping in my, was it Obsidet?
Yeah.
Kept going that in. And he did something where at the end of the turn he wiped the board so it didn't go away, or went away. I happened to draw, I already had in my hand the Black-White X.
Yeah.
And then I happened to draw the Black-White X, the Black-Black. White X where they lose double, and I won it by like 1 point.
Oh, that's awesome! Those are always fun.
Oh, and in the second game, by the way, our first game, I forgot he had Platinum Angel out.
Okay.
And I swung, and he was at -2. I'm like, "You're dead." Yeah, I'm at -2. No, like you're dead. I'm like, he's making a joke. -2. He's like, "No, Platinum Angel." I'm like, "Oh." And then he kills me next turn. No, actually, I got last place on that. That's right. He kills me next turn. Because I was wide open, and then Joe just does a board wipe. Game over.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I had a lot of fun because they were kind of balanced out. You know,
There you go.
Nothing was
Well,
overpowering.
yeah, it was you two versus Gage.
Yeah.
Seems fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
so-
he has some powerful decks though.
Well, he's
Yeah.
one of the people where it's once he puts the deck on the table, he's the automatic target, no matter what deck it is.
Yeah.
Because he's one that he gets a good idea for a commander deck, and he spares no expense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you have to if anybody else wants to play Magic, and I mean, he's one of those. I don't think he has a commander deck that doesn't have blue in it, and he runs blue the way it should be. So it's a very beautiful thing as long as you're not in that game, because otherwise you just want to throw the table and then hit him with the table. At least that's my response. So, I mean, he knows how to play that very well, and it's insanely frustrating to play against. And so, anytime him or the other gentleman puts, it doesn't matter what deck they're playing, they're the automatic target.
Yeah.
And I will go complete. I'm gonna suicide Harry Carry myself as long as they go first.
Nice.
And my decks usually work to the point where they go first.
Yeah. And then you usually die on the backswing.
It depends on the deck.
It depends on how.
if it's,
unless you can combo out.
yeah, if it's Omnath and that gets a little sillier,
Yeah.
and then I'm able to I'll play all this, and then I actually stopped them. I pulled kind of a Gage move, during our game. They were like, "All right, well, I'm going to swing at you." I was like, "Don't swing at me. You really don't want to do that." And they were like, what are you doing? I had like 18 lands open, and I had some instant destroy all creatures or X damage. And I was like, "Don't do that."
I know Exquisite Blood is going into my deck. I'm doing the infinite combo, man.
Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, their decks are that power level to where if you're not spending the same amount of money or the same card level, you're just not gonna be able to compete. And so
Yeah.
they're the first ones dead. Hopefully within 10 turns, because otherwise the game's pretty much over. Oh, that hurt.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, that's what I did.
All right. So Monday we had a free night. We didn't do anything.
Thank God.
It was glorious.
It is.
Like this coming up Monday. It's gonna be free night and glorious.
Yeah.
All right. So Tuesday, Blaine's game, and I know you were super.
It's super something.
super something.
Yeah.
All right, so where we left off, we were in the little village or in the open field, or it was like a little.
It was a wooded
grove.
field. Yeah,
That's
it was
the
a
word.
grove, and there's flowers everywhere.
And we were looking for a specific flower, and we saw one cool, unique flower, and we're like, oh, that must be it. Anyway, so the owlbear came and standing on 2 feet and talking to us was like, hey, I'm the guardian guy. And so that's where we left off, and then we picked up, and we did a little bit more dialogue, having conversation, and he basically was, it was a nice owlbear. He was like, look, I don't care what you do as long as you stay in the grove, but you try and step out of the grove, and I'm going to kill you.
Well, he said, yeah, he's the guardian of the grove, and he gets called as soon as you disrupt the grove.
Yeah.
And basically, the people that sent us to get the flower were in cahoots with this goofball. Yeah, no, that...
So, anyway, my character was just like, well, this is a lot of talking going on, and I'm not a character that cares about talking going on, and I'm not engaging in talking going on, so I put an arrow in his eye.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, what was the word that you... What's the phrase?
I asked if it was tangible.
Is it tangible?
Yep.
And it took him about 3 times of doing that motion for them to understand he was shooting him.
Yeah, because, the owlbear even said, does anyone else have any other questions? And I was like, oh, I got a question. Are you tangible?
Yeah.
Are you tangible? Is the owlbear tangible? Yeah, it was... All right.
Yeah. I
Anyway,
laughed.
Well, so the fight was basically that it was the owlbear we were fighting, and then there was these 3 stones around it, and then each time we killed the owlbear, one of the stones would light up, and after we had killed the owlbear 3 times, all 3 stones lit up, and then he basically teleported into the middle of the 3 stones, and then all the stones were all lit up, and then we had to fight him basically a 4th time, right? So
Yeah.
each time we beat him, we had to beat him over and over again.
Yeah.
So I personally...
I keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I personally like the fact that the DM basically made 2 modes to beat the monster, right?
Yeah.
So the first one was what he basically expected us to do was just punch it to over and over again until it stopped moving, or solve the problem of the stones. There was like a riddle of the stones, and you had to basically figure out what was going on behind the magic and what was tying it together, and
Yeah.
something most of my characters generally care about. That whole mystery problem solving thing.
Yeah.
The problem is that the people who were playing characters that did care about that type of thing
should care about that.
Care about that thing, did not, and just ignored it completely. And we're like, oh, it's just lights. Yeah,
and
everyone just turns the light on.
More than happy to punch it in the face.
Yeah. So I do like that aspect that he thought about. Because I will admit, if I had made that same scenario, I would have made the owlbear completely indestructible until you figured out the clue, and forced you to figure out the clue. And most of the players would have gotten frustrated, and then probably just mentally checked out of the game, as opposed to trying to solve the clue. Right? That's me as a DM. I force problem solving on people.
Yeah.
So I liked the idea that the DM had. I liked how he put the problem solving there, or beat it in the face.
Yeah.
And I think something I definitely took away from a DM perspective that, look at your players, understand how they're playing. If there's a situation where you want to force it, make it really hard, but allow them to beat the monster in the face. So yeah. I like that. I took something away from it. I learned a little bit, so I can extrapolate it going forward.
Yeah.
After that, after we beat the Guardian, he then gave us the flower, and he was like, oh, you passed the trial, here's the flower, and now you guys can leave. So we left.
Yeah.
And I'll let you talk about this part because I know it's your favorite.
I mean, pretty much the whole game. I mean, yeah, my thing with the whole game that's going as it is it seems every puzzle that he puts is so over the top and ridiculous. Like, I was more than happy to beat something in the face. And pictured him as I did it, because some of the stuff is just so over the top. So I mean, there's no hints with anything, and it's like with the last puzzle, it's you're in 5 different dimensions. Guess which one? How does it all work? And it's like, no, what are you talking about? I have a real life intelligence of like 8, so you doing this is not cool. But I mean, I can barbarian rage and throw a table at you. So anyway, we left there. We went back to the city, and they let us into what do you call it? Like the king.
Yeah.
It's the king of this place, and it's an elven city. So I mean, it's basically just sticks put together.
Yep.
It's a very long hut Viking style is the way he was describing it, which was odd in itself. But
the amount of checked out that Gary has done, he's actually working, like doing his own work, and he's typing on a keyboard about work stuff.
Yeah,
that's how checked out he is on the podcast.
Yeah, I think that's how checked out we have been for the last couple of Tuesdays too. So anyway, we go
Elven Kingdom.
We go into the king's chamber, or his waiting room, and he's like, you got to wait here until the king comes out. And the guy goes to announce us, and the king doesn't answer. So the guy knocks again louder and opens the door, and there's, I don't know, a ninja. There's no other way to describe it. The guy was basically completely clothed, his face, and he had the king laying on the ground and was ripping his beating heart out of his chest at the time. And so we were like, bad guys? So we rushed into the room and got ninja ambushed by...
Halflings.
Halfling ninjas that
dropped from the ceiling.
And landed on 2 of us, and 1 dodged. And so we dispatched them. I think they almost killed all the palace guards, didn't they? I know they oh yeah, you weren't paying attention.
No, I was shooting arrows, and I was trying to figure out exactly what was going on. I was surveying. I was trying to sneak attack. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. Well, they ended up almost killing all the palace guards, all 3 of them. And so we ended up taking care of those guys, but the one who killed the king did some kind of weird magical vanish doohickey stuff. So in enters the king's son, and he was like, oh, look, there's my father. You guys clean that up, please. And then sat down in the throne. I was like, well, I guess I'm king now. And I mean, just totally sociopath with the whole thing. It's like,
and we were like, it was like throwing up huge red flags for us, because we were trying to figure out whether he's just like laissez-faire or sent the assassins.
Yeah.
We're all under the impression he sent the assassins.
Oh, absolutely.
So then we went and explored the place.
Yep.
And we found that there was a hatch right above the throne room.
Directly above the throne, in the throne room.
And there's also no guard. There was no guards in the throne room either. Like
there was none.
It was just the king by himself, just hanging out in the chair, being like, I'm gonna do chair stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was what I boosted you up.
Yeah.
You went up on the roof, and then
I climbed around the roof, and some people were looking at me, and then a guard was like, "Hey, you're not allowed on the roof," and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool," and I flipped them off.
yeah,
And then I basically rope climbed up the rest of the palace,
up into
the king's actual. I'm pretty sure it's the king's actual sleeping quarters.
See, I got the impression it was the Sun's.
No, okay, so I think it's the king's because as I was rummaging through stuff, I didn't steal anything other than a notebook. I didn't actually take any money.
Yeah, it
I
was his journal.
Yeah, so I found a journal, and the journal said that my kingdom is this and my kingdom is this, and he's worried about how much the food production was going to be and all this kind of stuff. So I figured it was the king's journal.
Oh, see, I don't remember the food production. I just heard the my kingdom, and I figured it was the sun, and he was already planning.
Oh,
and he was
okay.
like, "This is my kingdom."
Yeah.
And it's falling apart, so he took action.
I thought it was the king. It could be. It could very well be. So,
but the funny thing is that window overlooked directly to the point where you could see down at the throne through the hatch.
not actually through the throne. I could see into the throne room from the hatch, though.
Well, no, because you asked, "Can I see anybody?"
And he said no.
He said yes.
I see the people, but I can't see the throne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because remember, it was off to the side. It was like up by the entrance and the thing.
So anyway. Yeah, we're trying to figure out why there's a hatch in the king's throne room.
And the prince keeps saying, "Hey, come eat dinner with me. I've got a more job for you. Hey, come eat dinner with me.
Yeah.
I've got more."
He's like, they're literally wiping the still warm blood off the floor, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a feast to celebrate me becoming king." Totally deadpan. It's like, dude, what is going on?
Maybe
here?
elves are like Spock. That's what I remember.
I'm more than content. Let's get the F out of here.
Yeah.
Like, you elves are weird. I'm gonna burn the place down. You know, the whole bit. I'm ready to go because the guy's giving me the heebie-jeebies.
Or the assassins, the other alternative is the assassins were killing the king and then going to use the little hatch to get up into the roof and then go kill the prince.
Yeah, that was the other thing too. Is he ripped the guy's heart out and then vanished, and we went and did like really, really thorough investigations, and there was no blood anywhere from a
he probably teleported away,
still
or dimension
heart.
doored away. That's a much lower level spell that you just appear somewhere else.
Yeah, it's possible.
There's no trails. So that's I know you are like on the game. Like your love of attention span and love of the game is going down. Mine's going up because it's like it's just a giant troll palace basically.
Yeah.
And then we had Gage decided to join us. And this is the part I didn't like about the game is that Gage wanted to force puns every 20 seconds.
He didn't want to. He did.
Yeah, and it was just every word. You'd be like, all right, so my character climbs across a rock. Oh, that rocks your world. No.
And that was the response he got from some of the people.
And he just kept doing it.
Which made him more and more angry. Yeah. Which that's what made me laugh.
Yeah, and
the rage building up in this one, and he's just sitting there, like, "Don't laugh at him. That's not funny." I almost peed myself.
So
it was so fantastic.
It would be bad ones. Like he'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to close the door. Oh, you better wear clothes when you go outside, so you're not naked."
Yeah, or the owlbear does this. Wow, you barely hit him. And stuff like that.
Did he say, "Wow, you barely"?
No, it was like, "Ow, you barely hit him."
Yeah, because it only did like five.
No,
5
owl
points of
like
damage.
owl bear.
Yeah, it's an owl bear.
No, I get it. Okay, never mind. You're not punning it up. Okay, I got you.
No, he wasn't. But yeah, it was just forced every 2 seconds.
The first couple were, they were fairly clever, and then he was just like, what do I care? And he just started throwing as low a common denominator puns as he possibly could. He just used a word in the sentence.
On Tinder. Yeah. It was just the lowest common denominator.
So, hi. Oh man, so yeah, that was fun. That was your least favorite part of the night.
This is my face all night. Basically, if you remember how it was at the beginning of the podcast, that's exactly how I was the entire
night. Yeah. So I mean, that was probably the most entertaining part for me that whole night. Yeah.
All right, so moving on. Wrap a bow on this. We're good.
Yeah. Okay. We're good on Tuesday.
All right, so Wednesday we did spin class. And 2 coworkers came with me.
Yeah.
They said they're going to be there next week too. So
yeah, and I thought it was hilarious. The one guy was like, "Yeah," he came in and they were like, "Oh, have you guys done spin class before?" And one of them was like, "Yeah," and the other one was like, "No." And well, what's your names? And the one person was like, "This is it," and the other one was like, "Yeah, I'm Big Daddy." And I think he made it like 2 songs in, and he was like,
I think halfway through the second.
yeah, and he was just like, he was sitting down. He stopped pedaling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he even said, "Don't call me Big Daddy anymore."
He's like, I'm little daddy. Because he was so broke off. And he was like, yeah, I was going to run today, but I figured I'd come out and try this. And at the end, I was like, so is this any easier than running? He was like, no, not at all.
Well, he did say he'll come back again. So.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Again, as it always is, and it's terrible at the same time. But it was a good time.
It was fun. I
Yeah.
like that. All right, so Thursday, Thursday we had the druid came back.
Yeah.
So he was missing for a week, but he's finally back, and he'll be back this week and next week, I believe.
I think so.
Or is it? Or 2 more
roughly.
weeks? Yeah, something like that.
Doesn't really matter.
We'll see. Anyway, so he did battle with the Avatar of Death, and the two of them fought it out, and he actually beat his version of the Avatar of Death as well.
Yeah.
That was drawn from the Deck of Many Things 2 sessions ago.
Yeah.
I think they went off to like some kind of shadow realm to fight it out. So it was kind of cool,
Yeah. Well, I mean, we also, we weren't sure on the him coming back, so
Right.
so the DM just made it easy. He was like, oh, he just pulled him into the shadow realm because there was no resistance, and it was like, if he came back, well, then you fought your way out, and if you didn't,
then he didn't.
yeah,
that's why you don't draw from the Deck of Many Things.
Oh no, that has nothing to do with it.
So if you remember where we left off last time, that the Pathfinders were up in a city to the north.
Yeah.
As we were trying to recruit our fellow guild to do battle with the destruction. This is the first. This is the first of our recruitment tactics.
Yeah.
I had headed off to go find out rumors. My wizard character had headed off to find rumors about the paladin that had fought the ancient great worm in the north, and your character met up with me, basically intercepting me where you figured I'd go.
Yeah, because we got separated, and so.
And then the rogue and the monk were the ranger and the monk were basically just hanging out.
Yeah.
In the city.
Yeah, they were running around doing goofy things.
So then some of us heard it, and some of us heard rumors of it. A white dragon flew over the village or close to the village and landed.
I think it was over. You saw it.
No, I didn't see it. I heard the druids talking about it.
Yeah, because I missed it too, where we were at. But the druids did start talking about it. They said there's a giant great worm or a white dragon,
and we're like, we're Pathfinders. We'll go stop a white dragon.
Yeah, because I mean, it's evil. So I was like, oh nope, this needs to die.
Yep. And so we were like, hey, open up a tree portal and send us through.
Yeah.
Little tree stride action, and so they did. We went through there, and our companions were also running to the scene as well. So it was we were going gangbusters to meet up with it.
Yeah.
All right, so as we approached, we realized, hey, look, there's one of our old paladin buddies fighting a white dragon. I noticed the irony between the paladin fighting a white dragon and the rumors of the paladin fighting the great white dragon. Yeah. It's I don't know if that was.
No, I caught that, but I was in my mind I was already too busy prepping of what am I going to do to this dragon.
So I don't know if this is like foreshadowing, like this paladin is supposed to be like a reincarnated version of him, or and as a paladin we've actually adventured with in the past.
Yeah.
He's from this other guild though. He's not actually a Pathfinder.
Oh, see, I thought he was a Pathfinder.
No, he is
just
not.
one of the like the sister branches of the guild, just from a different city.
No. The Pathfinders exist only in that one city.
Oh, okay.
The other guilds are similar to Pathfinders, but they are different.
Okay.
So he's one of the northern guilds that we've associated with.
Okay.
I'm actually writing backstory of we hung out together before. Anyway, so we did battle with the dragon, and it was actually kind of a short session. We just sort of battled the dragon.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a short session. It was just that was all we
short
did.
in the recap, yeah.
Yeah.
It was short in the recap side. We battled the white dragon, and it turned out to be an ancient white dragon.
Yeah.
We then killed the dragon.
We crushed the DM's hopes of it living.
Yeah, because as it was flying away,
I got a guided bolt.
Guiding bolt for the last 18 points of damage.
Yeah.
Because the dragon wasn't in its right mind. So then it crash landed into the ground, and through Revivify, a combination of Revivify plus telepathy plus interrogation, we discover that the dragon was chased out of its home by something.
Yeah.
That the dragon couldn't quite grasp what it was that chased it out.
Yeah.
So we.
But the one big clue that we got is lightning damage.
Yes, something did lightning damage
to it. Yeah. So.
Why are we doing?
Because we need to get down there to see the bottom.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
bro.
Okay. All right. So what we didn't know is that why the dragon was so far north.
South.
South, yes.
Because it lives
north
in the tundra.
in the north,
and
yeah.
we're just in Washington.
Yeah. So I did see images of its home. So if we want to teleport there, we have like a 50% chance to fail. So I can do it 3 times. You know, 50% plus 50% plus 50%. Right?
Absolutely.
We already did the math on this earlier.
It's 150%.
Well, it's 1.5 chance that it actually works.
Yeah.
So we can actually go visit, and we did see piles and piles and piles of loot.
Yeah.
Now, do we want to go face a giant lightning monster?
Absolutely.
Is the question.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's loot, buddy.
Well, I didn't know if because it was defeating something evil. Maybe it's good.
No.
The enemy of my enemy is still my enemy.
No. No, because if it was a good dragon, then it would have killed it.
Okay.
Because I mean, it didn't do very much damage, and it did more of the psychological damage, which
That's even scarier.
it is. But that's why we have you for.
44.6% chance
Yeah.
of making it.
So we.
Let's do the math. Sorry.
We called it for the night, and we plan to harvest the dragon's body for armor.
Yeah.
I think is sort of where we left off. So I'm making mental note on how to teleport there, as some people are harvesting its armor. Now I am interested because my character can wear leather armor, and I currently don't have any armor at all.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
you could get the wing skin.
That would be awesome. What
very
are they
supple.
called? What are those things called? With
Oh, the wingsuits.
Yeah, the wingsuits. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta keep it moist though, so it doesn't dry out.
I can't tell if he's trying to make a joke there. Or
I think he was, but I think that's an actual.
like his actual thing though.
It might be, yeah. But I mean, he I don't know.
Were you trying to make a joke? See, that's a face.
He
Yeah.
said supple, so I used another, ambiguous word. So
No, if you were going ambiguous, you should know you need to keep it moist because there are people that absolutely hate that word.
I think that's
that's
what
what I
I
was trying to do. Yeah, that's
Then
why
use moist. Don't just
That's what
say
I
keep
said.
it wet. No, you said keep it wet.
No, I said moist.
Iron moist.
Did he?
Yeah.
See, it doesn't bother me, so I didn't really register.
No, I mean it doesn't
Damn it,
bother me
it's-
either.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, so that was a fun session. I had a lot of fun. It was combat was had. Did the monk actually hit anything?
No. No, not at all. He tried. He got thrown by an earth elemental.
Yeah, and thrown under the dragon. So the
Yeah.
dragon was like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, I just
Yeah.
looked down as the monk
Yeah.
flew under.
Yeah, no. The paladin actually was the workhorse of that one.
MVP, I think he did 100 and something points of damage in one turn.
In just 2 attacks, he did 120 points of damage. But he burned
All of his spell slots.
all of his spell slots to do it, and then he ate the full brunt of its
Of its
frost
breath
dragon
weapon,
right
yeah.
in his face.
Yep.
So I mean that was
90 something points of damage he took.
yeah. It was pretty amazing.
All right, so Friday we had a 7-man pod because our reigning champion decided not to show. Overslept. So which is fine by me. I don't know.
We had
Yeah.
2 people not show up, what we expected. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have been anyway. We had a 7-man pod, and it was good times. I ran a green red, low to the ground, punching things in the face as hard as possible. Just as many 2-drops as I could draft, 2-drops and 3-drops as I could draft.
To great effect.
Yeah, I had 2 ambuscades. I had 2 overruns or overcomes. Yeah, 2 overcomes in the deck, and it basically I just set up turns to just I think I dealt 19 points of damage in one turn,
Jeez.
and I dealt like 30 points of damage in another turn, or my opponent scooped.
Yeah.
A lot of times that's what happened. It was a good untapped phase, show the overcome, and it would scoop.
Well, you also had the puncturing blow as well. So I mean, you had a healthy amount of removal.
Mm-hmm.
So you were able to definitely set yourself up, and you were, and I saw it afterwards. You were like over the top reckless with all your attacks. like with your exerting creatures, you just exert,
Yep.
and swing.
Full aggro,
Yeah,
man.
and I mean every single turn, and I mean I think it's amusing though. You've talked about how many cards are absolutely terrible. Do not run them, and you ran like 3 of the cards you say are complete trash. Just leave them over there and don't even play them.
Because they are, on their own, they are trash. The problem was, or the thing was, the reason why I exerted my creatures was I could have attacked for 2 points of damage. But when I exert it and get that 3rd point of damage, chances are they're going to put a creature that I can't get past.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to spend a spell every single turn to get past their creatures. So I want to get as much damage in as quickly as I can and then build the board state to overcome to finally get out that last points of damage.
Overcome it. It's not really a pun, I guess.
I'm gonna pee in the corner of your room, Gary. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just so you're not looking too, so that it takes a couple of days.
Gotcha.
Just warning you.
You're weird, man.
That's weird. Yeah, that's the weird one.
Oh,
of all the dialogue that just happened, that was the weird one. Flowers, what did you run last night?
I actually tried to go just a standard black-red. I had about 8 pieces of removal. The Magmaroth was the real workhorse of mine, even though it only came out into the 2 games that I beat Gary. So yeah, that's really what it was. It was just I had the Magmaroth, which was a decent little thing. I had the Grim Strider, which was another really powerful card because that is kind of the way that I play draft, especially is I don't want to, like my hand is lava, get it all out of my hand, and so that's the way I play Magic.
Hand is lava.
That's the thing. That's the only thing I could think of. So I mean,
Hot potato.
Yeah, very much like that too. It was just as fast as I could get stuff out of my hand. And try to get cards that benefited me for doing that.
Right.
So the Grim Strider was there, and then I had the Manticore with a flick 3 and attacks every turn, the 5/4 one.
Yeah, you got the rat on me twice.
Yeah, the rat was really good, and I happen to only have 1 rat, but I had that claim to fame. So the one black and just put it back on the board, and it worked really well actually for what I had because I had. I don't know, about 7 2-drops, and then 2 or 3 3-drops, and then 1 4-drop, and then or 2 4-drops and 1 5-drop. So I ended up running that, and it worked well enough. But I ended up playing you the second match, and you were way more aggro than me and had way better answers. So you basically pounded my face in, and then I went up against a control deck the last set, and I mean just got worked. So. It was what it was. But I mean, you did better after our matches, didn't you, Gary?
My deck was a very versatile deck.
Versatile. That's the way to say he lost.
His deck he didn't listen to the first part of the podcast, as he said he wasn't anymore. The first part of the podcast, and then the results
I
paid off in spades.
Tried to go 3 colors right from the get-go, I think, or like pretty early on.
Right.
Pack 2, pick 1 was Scorpion God. I was already in black heavy and red heavy, but I was kind of pretty deep in blue a little bit maybe. And I was like, you know what, man, I can do this 3 color. And I got too focused on that blue, and I should have really just focused on the black and red, and deluded myself to the point where I pretty much played every black and red card I had, and I had to squeeze stuff with half blue and other little stuff to make it work. And put a monument in there that was normally crappy, but it worked. So
yeah.
With you were too aggro. I couldn't do it. If I played anybody else that was super aggro, it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
I set it up. I have a little bit of a control element there. That monument, just amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it was just only because of the matchup.
Kofnet's monument is the
blue one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it seems like it gave you enough time to get out the Scorpion God or something else to answer. Because I want to say I watched one of your games and you had him out and you were just, -1 counters all over the place. So
yeah, once Scorpion Guy came out, I never lost a game with him.
That's how all the gods are.
No, it was
once the gods come out, I just don't lose games.
I played today with Brandon because he wanted to play against it, and I was down to 2 cards left. But I used the crap out of the Scorpion God. But he also had that stupid curse on you when you play a creature.
Trespasser curse.
Yeah, so I had to be very careful, and he was getting so frustrated because I was just like, "Yeah, I'll Scorpion God that for 2, Scorpion God that for." I had enough mana out at that point. Everything that anything he put on the board, I was gonna Scorpion God it. So I kept swinging into him for 5.
Not to death.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you can't you can't do it to death because then you'll be forced to draw cards and lose.
Well, no, exactly, and that was the thing. Scorpion God had when I played him, it had -4, -1 counters on it.
On
I
the
was trying to keep it. I was trying to kill it in combat while killing one of his, and then I didn't think
so
I
you
could
can recast it again.
Yeah, I was because I was losing turns. I was like, man, I only got so many turns to kill him, and I'm trying to do the math. But with I played one of the guys, and we had a real big wall up, and I didn't have a Scorpion God out, and he was milling the crap out of me, and I was down to 4 cards. I was down to 5 cards into my turn. Draw. I'm down to 4 cards. I draw Moaning Wall, which was just a black filler because I didn't have really any black, but it had that cycling on it, and I had this enchantment that if I cycle, I can pay 1 life. If I cycle or discard, I pay 1 life. You lose 2 life. I gain 2 life.
1 mana.
Yeah, 1 mana. And I had a creature that had whenever you cycle, it gets whatever. So I did full swing, exerted, menace, the whole deal. I knew I was going to get 4 in on him. Or more somehow, but I had that in my hand too. I was gonna see how he blocked and stuff. So he blocked. I played it. Boom. My guy came in for 4 with the menace. Did the other 2 to him. He was out of cards too. Drew a card out of the whole thing because I cycled.
Yeah.
Drew my Scorpion God, which I had enough mana still to cast it too. So that I barely won. He had me down to like 2 life, I think, or not 2 life. He had me down to 7 or 8 life, but he could have popped that, what is it, the Seer
wizard.
of the Last Tomorrow and milled me. I think he was not aggressive enough in doing this.
Well, because he wasn't trying to mill you, he was just trying to get his card.
He didn't even do the attack thing every time. Had he done that every time, he would have milled the junk out. He said later, like, man, I wish I'd asked you how many cards you had, and he would have won. He just didn't ask how many cards were in my deck. So, and then the last game, that was easy. A lot of life gain, life goes on, or whatever that is, and a lot of this other bull crap, and I just built up a better board, and that same monument won me. So I ended up getting 3rd place. I don't know how, but
because
the pairings.
Yeah, I lost everything else.
Yeah,
like I beat you 2-0, and then I went 0-4.
And then the other guy, there was a draw that night, which threw things off a little bit.
Yep. Changed the math completely. Yeah. So yeah, it was a fun little week.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So hey, this is a normal length podcast.
Yeah.
So roughly. Nah, I mean we were keeping it around this length at one point. We got a little out of control last couple, so this is good. So thanks for checking us out and listening to us this week. You can follow us at...
Do you see the gears rolling in his head, by the way?
What?
Like, you can literally see as he's doing the outro, he's trying to think of something clever.
No, I wasn't thinking of anything at all.
Look at the gears going in his head. Like, you can see them.
You can follow us at Twitter at _BAFDraft. And you can check us out. You can check out our podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes at The BAFDraft. That's no spaces there. And also, we are on Facebook at facebook.com/The BAFDraft.
And eventually, YouTube.
Yeah, at this point, I'm recording this, and I have not got the YouTube episode out for episode 61. And this is episode 63.
So we're two episodes
I've been working on it, man. I just finished the audio while you were grabbing him, and I'm working actually on 62 audio. So yeah, we're getting there, man. So hey, thanks a lot. We're tapping out, and we will see you and talk to you next week.